Hey everybody, how is it going? I'm here trying to listen to the sound here. I've got my microphone not in my face, if you didn't notice that. And so I'm trying to test out how the sound is. So if you hear me, let me know. If I sound clear, let me know. If not, I'll have to adjust it a little bit. But from everything that I'm seeing, from everything that I was doing earlier, I think it sounds okay. So I've got it above me, looks to be out of frame and everything like that. So hopefully this new microphone setup works, because then I won't be bumping into it when I'm reaching across my table and all that kind of stuff there. Sounds great. Awesome. That is good to hear. You know, I've had this mic for a while and I've never known, like, does it have to be directly in front of me? Can it be above me? Where does it pick up the sound from? But seems to be working okay, so that's good news. I'm glad that it sounds good. Welcome. It is the end of March, the absolute end. So we're pushing it here with the what's new in the collection. Had a very busy month, but we got a bunch of cool stuff in, and I'm glad that I waited until the last day, because I actually got a package literally at 5 o'clock this afternoon that I am super stoked about. So we're going to be going through these games. I've got my top-down camera on, so we'll actually get to dig into them, open them up a little bit, and just kind of explore the games from there. So other than that, I think we can go ahead and get started with everything that's new in the collection this month. So let's go to... There we go. Perfect. I think that's the right one. So first thing that we'll do here, we'll start with two games that are temporarily in the collection. So a huge shout out to Jeff over on our Discord server. I've been talking to him quite a bit. Earlier this month, I mentioned if anybody had played Saltfjord, and because it's still overseas, and Jeff actually reached out and he said that he has a copy of it, and he would be more than happy to let me borrow it. So we got it all worked out. He sent me this game, and on top of that, he also sent me Galileo Galilei. Now, this is just the cover, because the game is actually underneath my table, and I am playing it currently. So I'm not going to be able to show this one off today, because it is currently set up under my table. But if you join in on Friday, I am doing a live solo playthrough of Galileo Galilei. Now, I do have to send these back to him, and then this one, Galileo Galilei, will be sent back to him next week, so that's why I really want to play that one. So unfortunately, I haven't had a ton of time to look at Saltfjord very much, but this is a dice placement game, I believe, that is a re-implementation of, I think it's Santa Maria. So in this game, players face a constant dilemma of whether to expand their village or activate the buildings they already have. Players can complete trade orders for future benefits, develop technologies to access special abilities, use dice to activate their buildings, or increase their production by constructing new buildings. Player with the most after 3 wins, or after 3 rounds wins. So it sounds honestly just like your standard Euro. Again, huge shout out to Jeff. He has all these player laminated reference sheets. He's got all the bags labeled. I did look in here just a little bit, not much, but it's got these awesome dual layer boards. Hey, Michael. So, you know, production quality, production value is great there. This is Aporta Games. Got some real chunky little pieces here. So this is the blue player pieces, which is funny because it's got yellow workers in there. Oh, I guess all of them do. Here's the green one. So yeah, you know, you got your tiles, and honestly don't know much about it. It's just a game that caught my eye last year at BGG Spring. Walking around, get to see, or it was BGG Con. Walking around, you get to see it on the table. It was one of the hotness tables out. I didn't read the rule book or anything like that beforehand, so I didn't want to make Joe and Devin suffer while I read it and then tried to teach it immediately. So again, the fact that I can borrow this one and kind of take my time with it, super excited to do this, to play this game. And like I said, as soon as I get Galileo Galilei off the table, this is the next one that is going to be on there that we're going to be playing. So that is Saltfjord. I believe... I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't remember what I was going to say. But yeah, that's Saltfjord. It just looks so great. I love that cover on there. Then the back, you know, it just looks perfect Norwegian. Saltfjord. Hey Ian, thanks for being here. Okay, up next we have this one over here. This is classified information. If you've been following us for a while, you'll know that this is a game that Devin and I actually got to preview before the Kickstarter went live. We made a video on it. It was probably, I don't know, about a year and a half ago now, maybe a year. It was when we were still making videos on the table or on the kitchen counter. So it's been a while ago. But this game finally fulfilled by IncrediQuest Games, and they were kind enough to send us a finished copy of the game. You can see mine is still in shrink. I do have the original prototype over there. I just haven't gotten a chance to open this one up yet. But this is a 2-player deduction game that is pretty cool. So you have these different decks, and each deck works slightly different to each other. Ian, yeah, the cover to Saltfjord looks amazing. So there's a citrine deck, an emerald, and a ruby deck, and the abilities in there are slightly different. So you've got things that let you look at the bottom deck of the card, the bottom card of the deck, to look at the top card of the deck, to try to make these deductions. So each player has this little wheel here. Let me see if I can zoom in. I don't think I can. I think that zoomed in all the way. But you have this little cipher, and you have a secret number. It's your briefcase number, which is why this game comes in a briefcase. And the other person's trying to guess it based on the cards that you play. It's a fun 2-player deduction game, plays 10 to 15 minutes. There's not a lot of, you know, those kind of games, so this one did it really well. You know, I've got the promos for the Kickstarter here. I've got the exclusives, whatever this may be, a nice little coin. So that is classified information. I'll get it open, just not yet because I have the other one still. So I'm gonna wait for Devin on this one. Okay, up next. This is a small little card game that I honestly know very, very little about. We can go ahead and open this one up. This is called Flagbearer. It is a, let me pull it up because I was just looking at it. This one came pretty early in the month, and I don't remember much about it. But this is a expandable card game. And so they come with a bunch of different starter decks, and I believe this is coming to Kickstarter. I'm not 100% sure. Honestly, they asked if they wanted to send us a copy of this. We told them sure. We might never actually make any content with it, but if they want to send it, go ahead. And if we get to it, we'll get to it. So they still went ahead and sent it. This is available on Game Crafter already, I think is the website. But they're wanting to go more mass market, so they are going to crowdfunding at some point. So we got 2 of the starter decks. We have the Technomancer here. Let's actually look at these cards. I haven't looked at all these. This card is for production purposes. They may be disposed upon on the sheet. So, you know, you've got your basic kind of cards here. Recycle waste, remove a die stored on a card you command, draw cards equal to the pit value, advanced generator, storage. So it looks like just kind of your basic card game that you're going to be, you know, playing head to head, doing abilities, playing cards, just going back and forth, basic generators, silver. Sliver, the Entwined. It's kind of cool artwork. Looks pretty sweet. What else? MK, Resolute Droid. So it looks like that's kind of the Technomancers. I actually don't think there is a rulebook that came with this. There's a digital one. Let's look at the Naturae deck. The Deathless Entity. That looks kind of goofy, honestly. Oh well. I don't know what that looks like. Lux Horror. Not so sure about this artwork. I don't know why that's not focusing. There we go. But yeah, this is Flagbearer. Again, I don't know if we're actually going to do anything with it, but it was sent to us for just to kind of look at pre-production. But that is this. I'll put a link to all this stuff in the description. The game is Flagbearer, like I mentioned. So I'll put a link in there, just that if you guys want to check it out. It looks like there's some chip boards that come along with it too. Ooh, these are actually extremely thin. Very thin. But it looks like some type of lock, some type of lightning bolt. There's a ton of them. So this is laser cut components. But yeah, that is a Flagbearer. So again, don't know really anything about it, but something that's in the collection. So thought we'd show it off. If we do something, we'll do something. Okay, let's get into some other games here. The rest are all review copies of games, I believe. Yes, all of these have been sent to us, so I'll make a little disclaimer of that before we get into it. But this first one here is Deadpool. This was sent to us by the Op. Yeah, there we go. We'll zoom in. Very cool that they sent us this one. So we actually backed the X-Men, what is it called? The box, the big box. I forget what it's called off the top of my head. And the Op actually, sent out some review copies of Deadpool, so we didn't pick it up. So figured why not get it? And we actually got to record some of this last week. So with Deadpool, everything in here is deluxe components. And man, they went all out with Deadpool. He is extremely thematic. I'm sure on the box here you saw, get me out of this box. He's all about breaking the fourth wall there. So it came with two different components here, or two different component trays. The main one here that has Deadpool, and then the trifold board. Deadpool is not one of my favorite characters. I think he's fine, but he's not really my style. But they nailed this. They did so good with this. Deadpool coming out of the board, making this little small straight here kind of bounce all over the place, just so that it looks like he's actually hitting it. A lot of the actions on here are really cool. So like you have these finger guns, which is kind of your fallback ability if you're playing Dice Throne. But if you say pew pew whilst pointing your finger guns, you gain an extra CP. So everything about it is just very, very thematic. Again, he's not my favorite character in the Marvel Universe, but they did him super well. This game came, this box comes with sleeves on it. So every single card that we have is sleeved. Pretty sweet artwork there. It comes with the promo card, which is sleeved, and then, of course, the mythic card for your Dice Throne Adventures. And then you've got all the cards in here, right? So he has one of his abilities is rock, paper, scissors. And so that is this token here. And once he gains this rock, paper, scissors token, you actually play rock, paper, scissors with your opponent to see if some more damage is going to be added. You can play the normal way, with your hands, or you can draw with these cards. So that way there's no chance of tying or anything like that. So that's kind of his little extra thing there. Of course, all of his cards, he's got his own very thematic cards. You know, he's a chaotic guy by nature, so a lot of his cards are kind of chaotic. Let me see if I can find one. There was one that there was one in here that was like, have your opponent guess a number, pick a number, roll a die. If that number is the same one that you rolled, then you get some defense or you gain some CP, but if you don't, you lose some health. So it's stuff that it's very luck dependent, but again, it really fits with his play style. Here is the random card draw that you get. Chimichanga, where is it? Do you feel lucky? That's the card right there. So with this one, again, you're just picking a number, and then with that number, you are just rolling the dice and going from there. I really like the artwork on here. They still kept Clown Pool on the CP dial. You know, that was a whole big thing when they were going through the production process of it. They had to change the mini, and then you've got the health tracker. There is the curmudgeon token. Let's see if I can get it out. So the curmudgeon token is this metal coin here, and basically it's, you can play it on your board if you want to be a curmudgeon, if you want to be a Debbie Downer and not do the stuff that you're supposed to do whenever you play him. Like, say, onomatopoeias whenever you play onomatopoeia. Like, say, pew pew whenever you get the finger gun activity. So this, you just play it on there, and you're just going to be a curmudgeon. Like I mentioned, this is all the deluxe components, so it does come with a cardboard one also. And on the back, it says, place this on your hero board, frowny face up, to receive Deadpool's bonuses without needing to say any required word or sound effects. So I think that's pretty funny. You've got all his status effects tokens, so there's the onomatopoeia one, a nice acrylic. You've got all his little donuts, which basically give him health. So at the start of your round, if you have donuts, you can spend one in order to get half of the value rounded up. And then, of course, you've got the mini that caused so many of the delays. But there he is. So that is the Deadpool character. Again, not my favorite character in general, but they definitely did him well in the game, and I don't think I could have done him any better. That's one thing that Dice Stone is very good at, and that is making the characters feel like they are who they're supposed to be, and they did a great job here with Deadpool. So again, thanks to the op for sending this one over. This will be our first video that we release. It's going to be Deadpool and Wolverine, whenever that is. Might be a week or two, not sure. But that is Deadpool. All right, let's see what we got next. Hey, Ken Pat. Deadpool, yes. Ken, finally got some stuff recorded for you. Okay, these two are from Salt and Pepper Games. Salt and Pepper Games are the people that made Conservus. So I recently did a playthrough of Conservus. That is a solo-only game. This, Operation Barclay, is a two-player game that just released. It was crowdfunded, and I think it's been fulfilled already, or it's being fulfilled, something along those lines. So let's dig into this one and see what's going on. As I was reading about this game, I saw that there was some issues that came out with some of the tokens. I'm going to assume it's these tokens, which is why I have extras. Not 100% sure. But in all honesty, I know almost zero about this game. So we've got a Spanish rulebook here. Salt and Pepper Games is based out of Spain, so a lot of their stuff comes in Spanish. This says 2 players, 30 minutes. You got a bunch of cards, some evidence tokens, some intelligence tokens, a draw bag, some assessment tokens, the player board, and then some calendar track markers. Where's the flavor text? Here we go. Operation Barclay, the 1943 intelligence war in the Mediterranean. July 1943, the Allies are invading Sicily. The Axis powers have been deceived. They still believe the main attack in the Mediterranean is yet to come. Allied military intelligence has been laying the groundwork since early 1943, creating a complex web of disinformation to confuse the Axis powers and convince them that black is white and white is black. Double agents planted radio chatter on Army that only exists on paper and fake documents on the dead body floating off the coast of Spain. Operation Mincemeat, have all had a part to play. This grand plan goes by the name of Operation Barclay. In Operation Barclay, you play the role of the Director of Military Intelligence, Allied or Axis. Your mission will be either hide or discover the truth about the planned Allied invasion in 1943. Skillful management of the situation will be key to success in winning the intelligence war before the military forces collide. 5 possible campaign sectors. Okay. So it looks like it's just a head-to-head tactical kind of card game where you will be trying to outwit your opponent. So with that being said, Devin will for sure outwit me in this game because he is just so much better at that kind of game. End of game scoring. Examples of a victory through logic. Oh, maybe it's some type of deduction. Interesting. Design diary. That's kind of cool. Oh, that's awesome. I know a lot of places give you the design diaries, like on BGG. They actually printed out one. Adventures in playtesting. There's their bibliography where they got all their information from, what the board, what the cards look like. Cool, that's interesting. These are pretty big cards. Where's the... I want to just rip them. Here we go. Inteligencia Naval. Ooh, these are Spanish. Did I get both English and Spanish cards? Yeah, Sección 17,000, Grupos de Comandos. These are all Spanish. And naval intelligence. So, again, I mentioned that they are from Spain. So it looks like this is the English and this is the Spanish. Now, if we really, really like this game, I can give Devin the English cards and I can keep the Spanish ones. Probably not. Still need the board. Okay, so here's the other tokens, and I'm guessing these replace these. And I think that's what I read. I'll get into that in a second. Here's the X's, here's the little bag, and then the player board, which is not very big. So I like this with Salt and Pepper Games. They've got a really small table presence. This is really nice here. So this looks to be in English, and that is the entire board. So that's kind of cool. That's nice. All right. So I think what I read was that these tokens, you're supposed to guess like what is there and what's not. And since they're acrylic, you can kind of see through them a little bit. So they're supposed to be put face down somehow. Not sure exactly how, because I haven't actually read the books or anything like that. But people were saying that they could guess what was what based on just the way they look. So you can kind of see here that they have slightly different colors. And I think that matters whenever you're looking to see what's supposed to be there. So they went back and got different tokens. And that's these ones here that you cannot do that on the side. Now, with that being said, there is something on this side that's very hard to see because it's yellow. So unless it's just my lighting, which it might be, but those are the tokens there. So very cool. They fit a ton of stuff in this box. I'm excited to try this one just to see what it's about. This is the Spanish side. So yeah, bunch of stuff in here. 2 different languages. And they got it all to fit. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here, put this in here. I'll keep these out for now. I'll put them back in a little bit later. Don't need the Spanish stuff. Well, we can do all that later. So I'll go ahead and just put it in. And yeah, that is Operation Barclay. Put these away. And this one also. Okay. Next one we've got is Escape from the Moon. A nice little small box game. I wish I could zoom in a little bit more, but I didn't set that up ahead of time. Again, another Salt and Pepper games here. This one is a solo-only game, which I believe is a reprint, because I think, and let me look up real quick here, I think I can look it up on my phone. This game is originally printed in, not Escape from Atlantis, Escape from the Moon, in Japanese or maybe Chinese. I'm not sure exactly what language it was printed in, but it is a 2023 game. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's some other language, but looks like Salt and Pepper Games ended up picking it up and they reprinted it in English. So we have the rules and then cards and scenarios. So let's see what this game is about. Components. 8 starting deck cards. And I think that's it. These look like sleeves. So warning, oxygen levels low. Evacuate the base immediately. In an era of space exploration in the not so distant future, you are a member of the crew working at a base on the moon. The members of your crew were involved in a mysterious incident and you alone were left behind. Your mothership is in lunar orbit and you have become completely isolated. Suddenly an alarm begins to sound. Oxygen levels low. Cause unknown. Evacuate the base immediately. Repeat, oxygen levels low. Emergency power has been turned on, and it seems that an issue with the electrical systems has caused a majority of the base's functions to become deactivated. Under these conditions, not only will it be impossible to get an SOS communication through, but the facility would also be unable to maintain its oxygen supply. Only limited time remains. With what little time you have, will you be able to repair your rocket and make it back to the mothership? The challenge to escape has begun. So you have some other cards here. It looks like sector items, sector return cards, event cards, start and escape points. The goal of the game is to escape to your mothership with the rocket. However, due to a launch program error, the rocket has stopped functioning. In order to launch, the program must be restored at 2 locations in the lunar base. Scattered around the lunar base are a variety of items that will be useful in your evacuation, so it will be advantageous for your escape to explore as many sectors as possible. In addition, you might be able to determine the cause. Only there isn't much oxygen remaining. Will you be able to escape the lunar base and return to your mothership? We are so behind deliveries as X-Men of Deadpool here. Have they even started delivering there, Ken? Some hints. Okay, so it looks like this is kind of what the setup is going to look like. You have all these cards everywhere. You've got an escape. No, you've got your oxygen tank in the middle. You've got your start point, oxygen canisters, and you're just going to be exploring and trying to escape. It looks really interesting. Kind of a long rule book here, but I did look up some videos. Shouldn't be too hard. Let's look at what some of these cards look like. And I wonder if there's enough sleeves for everything. Hopefully end of April. Ken, did you actually back anything with the crowdfunding? Escape from the Moon. Oh, these are the Spanish ones. Dang it. Well, again, if I know somebody that speaks Spanish, I can just give them these cards. Yeah, these are the Spanish ones. Wasn't paying attention there. Then these are the English ones. Well, I'm not going to open them. I don't want them to mix. But it looks like you have your first player card, your oxygen tanks. What are these? These look like búsqueda, so some type of explorer, possibly. Your escape point, return, activated program, tanque de combustible, so some combustible air tank, battery, hack, help the organism, a spacesuit, desconocido, unknown explorer, get rid of 2 cards, exit, and then you escape, failed, you're dead. So, interesting. We'll see how that one plays. Again, it looks like they gave me some sleeves, so we'll be sleeving that. And then tons, cards and scenarios. So how many different scenarios are there? Different event cards. Setup. Difficulty. This one is a 5-star difficulty. I don't know. 4-star difficulty, 1 star. Looks like there's 3 different scenarios that you can play through. So, very cool. Might take this one up to work just so that if I have any downtime, I can play it. Because like you said, nice little small box. I like some small box games. VFI is the worst. That's what I've been hearing from quite a few different crowdfunding projects. All right, up next we have Wingspan. This is the Oceania expansion. I always feel weird saying Oceania. But this was sent to us by Stonemaier Games. It is an expansion of Wingspan, obviously. Let's see. So now we have this might actually be the first expansion that we have to the game, besides the fan art expansion. So I don't really know how this plays. I know a couple of the changes. You know, kind of off topic here. I think the table looks really good with a lot of this stuff. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's killing y'all's eyes, but I think it looks pretty good. One of the things that's added here are these nectar tokens. Now, I don't know if this is actually nectar tokens. This is not. This is oh, hold on. These are the nectar tokens. These are the nectar tokens. So that is the new mechanic that was added here. Ian, if you're still here, tell me about this expansion, because I'm sure you have it. Looks like it comes with some more goals and around goals. There's a new Atoma rules. In this second expansion to Wingspan, I had a chance to get this, decided not to since I wasn't sure about doing content. Yeah, Devin is going to be live streaming with Lacey at some point, this one. So you don't have any expansions. So this says it's the second one. What was the first one? I don't remember. We feature the colorful and awe-inspiring birds of Oceania. The Oceania bird cards are designed to be shuffled into the bird cards from the base game, with or without other expansions. This expansion includes new player mats and a new food type, allowing players to explore different strategies in this new environment. It also includes new bonus cards and more end-of-round goals, as well as a new color of eggs. I'm assuming it's just more eggs for the sake of eggs, because the colors mean nothing in this game. Europe, Oceania, Asia. Okay. And that's right. I've been seeing that most likely the Americas will be next. So there's the Atoma. European adds more bird abilities, endgame scoring. So this has, okay. I didn't actually look at it until right now. So this is the Oceania board, because you have this nectar spent. So it looks like if you spend nectar, it's 5 or 2 points for the majority. Looks like you can spend nectar or eggs in order to get cards. It's probably one of my least favorite Atomas. Stonemaier's prefer Wormspan for solo and Stacy, and I really like Finspan. It also completely changes the player board. Yeah, so this is the player board. Let's look at some of these cards to see what this nectar actually does. Now, I have heard this isn't a lot of people's favorite expansion for the fact that it changes the board, it adds in this new resource. But let's see what it looks like. Abbott's Booby. Of course, the artwork is always top-notch in Wingspan. Come on, focus on me. Nope, maybe not. There we go. Abbott's Booby. So when played, draw 3 bonus cards, then discard 2. You may discard bonus cards you do not wish to draw. This is a new color. Gay men, tuck 1 card from the deck behind each bird in your grasslands, including this one. Makes things getting easier. Well, let's compare them here in a second. The Australian Shovel, Australian Ibis. Let's try to find a good-looking one. All of these are good-looking, but let's try to show some good ones off. And then, of course, we've got the fan art one expansion. I had the privilege of going in and changing all of those cards, and let me tell you, that was not fun whatsoever. So I don't think I'm going to do it for this deck. Devin can do that, and since I say that, we know that Devin will not do that. So I probably will have to at some point. But this is the Count Raji's Bird of Paradise. That looks pretty sweet. I like it. When activated, choose one other player. You both get a nectar from the supply. Crimson Chat. Okay, so it's another thing that you have to use. So this one uses nectar up in the top corner to play them into the space. Ooh, that one's pretty. Gold's Finch. I like that card. Come on, zoom in. Maybe focus. Nope. All right, it's good enough. So some new cards there. Let's see what the other side. Let's compare these two sides here. All right, so this is the Oceania and this is the original. So, okay. Here, you have to pay a card to get an extra. So you get one, pay a card to get an extra. Here you just get one. If you notice, the food row gives you 2 food on space 2 automatically. Yep. So there's 2 here. If you pay a resource, it looks like you can re-roll one of them. Here you just get 1. Here is 2 with the opportunity of getting 1 more. Here is 2, re-roll. So the difference in this one is the re-roll. And then here you get 3 with the opportunity of another one. And then 4 at the end where there's only 3 here. So that is definitely less punishing. Let's look at the egg. So similar things, right? There's 2 here and only 1 here, but you can pay to get the extra. 2, pay to get the extra. Okay, so the eggs look to be a little bit harder to get stuff with. 3, 4, 4. And then the last one. Ian will look at it here in a second. This one, 1 card, 2 cards. So this one seems a little bit easier to get stuff. You pay the egg, the nectar. Yeah, so the cards and the top row seem to be a little bit easier. This one seems to be about the same, a little bit harder, this third row. So I'm sure the nectar has something to do with that. But that's cool that it's double-sided, so at least you can always keep these in the box. And then, of course, you have the dice, right? But these ones have the new nectar symbol on there. Let's look at the Atoma just real quickly. We won't get into it too much. Atoma rules changes. All rules from the Wingspan still apply, except where explicitly changed. Cool. I was wishing you would tell me what they were, where it says changes. There's difficulty levels. Atoma rules for Oceania. No goal at the end of the round containing no goal. Oh, I thought that was just like a blank space, not like an actual no goal one. So that is actually no goal. There's a summary card for it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not gonna go too deep into it. Pretty like that. But I guess there are some changes to it, but the majority of it is the same. So that is a Wingspan Oceania. Like I mentioned, Devin will be doing some content for this game at some point with Lacey. So be on the lookout for that. All right, up next we have En Route. This is a stroll and write game. This is a game that will actually feature on our channel tomorrow. Devin and I got to play it not too long ago. We got to record it. Yeah, definitely check it out, Ian. This is a stroll and write. This is a roll and write game. I won't go too deep into my thoughts because we did do a sponsored playthrough of it. So don't want that to muddy up the waters too much. But this game is... There's a bunch of different cities that you play in. And you have this deck of cards. So, let's kind of explain it real quickly. Where's the base game? So right here, this is First City. And you'll see there's all these different colors. So you have blue, green, red, yellow, and then gray. So the yellow and the gray are different types of buildings. I forget what they're exactly called. So this is first one. The gray ones are variable scoring, and then the gold ones are a set score on there. So what you do on your turn is you have 3 cards, right? So something like this, and you play one of them. If you're playing with 2 people, they will play 2 other cards. If you're playing with more people, each person will play a card. So we'll have something that looks like this. Since I'm the active player, I played the first card. I can't discard it. So I will pick one and then discard that, and then we will keep these. So what you'll do is then you'll use this as a grid point, right? So 1, 1. And in this space right here, we're going to be putting some tourists. So there's green tourist, red tourist, and blue tourists. So you'll put those shapes on here. And then you'll draw a path around it. Either 1 line or 2 lines next to it, or 1 line anywhere on your map. There are some endgame scorings that you're going to be looking for, some objectives. So it can be things like the total number of turns on the route, the number of route sections along the border of the city map, going through an iconic route, going through all these things. So the game plays over 10 rounds. You can make some of these gray locations worth more victory points if you play cards with them on there, which I don't see any in my hand right here. And then at the end of the game, you just score the 3 objectives. You score how many of these yellow ones you went by. You score by the gray ones, whatever they're worth. There's little coffee mugs on here, which are kind of your mitigation. Plus or minus 1 on your number. Some extra tourists, some extra lines. Some type of set collection. There's these little hand symbols. So if you're going through them all, you can get up to 24 points. And then here's the actual tourists. So let's say I touched these 3 green ones and I had a total of, we'll just say 6 green tourists around there, you would get 6 times 3. So that's 18 for the green. If you had, 8 red ones and you touch 2 of them, that's another 16. And that's what you would do down here for your points. Have a good one, Ian. Awesome. I'll be sure to check it out. And for those of you guys that are here, I'm on Ian's channel tomorrow morning. We're redoing his wall. So check that out tomorrow morning. So yeah, that's first city. Now, the thing about this game is there are 7 different cities on here, and all the maps change. So this is London. You can see that there's the River Thames right in here. You also have the Underground. You have Hong Kong, which is actually the city that Devin and I played, that will feature tomorrow. And you have this bay, and you've got 2 different cities, or 2 different parts of the city. So it changes it up. It makes it a little bit more dynamic gameplay that way. It comes with a bunch of different markers that you can do the tourist colors in, the actual lines in, and whatnot. You can use them. You don't have to, but that is en route. I believe this one was in Kickstarter. This was a crowdfunding game, and it's funding now. So it might be available on their website. All the information will be on our video tomorrow. So that is en route. You've got the rulebook, and then you've got all the different cities in here and how it changes it. So you've got London, Rio, Cairo, and it's got the special rules for everything. Hong Kong, Paris. This one I thought was pretty cool. New York, and what you get is this giant stack of coffee cards because there's a coffee stand on every single corner in New York City. So that is en route. We're almost done here. We got 2 more games, and these are the 2 that I am the most excited about. So this one literally arrived 5 o'clock in the afternoon to the door. It's not even on the thumbnail because I didn't have it yesterday. And this is Galactic Cruise. I'm gonna have to zoom out. This box is massive. This was sent to us by Kinson Key Games. This is a game that I've been following since before it was on crowdfunding. I got a chance to talk with the designers on Instagram and stuff like that whenever they were first, kind of getting stuff out of here or trying to get the word out on the game. And then this game just completely blew up on crowdfunding. This game is on many people's most anticipated for the year. Honestly, it's one of my most anticipated for the year as well. It's got artwork by Ian O'Toole, and I'm just super excited for this game. So this is the base copy, so we don't have any of the expansions or any of that other, Kickstarter stuff on it. But this box still cannot close on its own. So I'll show you guys just how massive this is. Get all this wrapping out. This right here, normal board game. That's Galileo Galilei. So it is that much bigger, right? A little bit wider there. And then the side profile is there. Gigantic, right? I originally thought this was going to be a Lacerda size game, Lacerda size box. It is not. It is much bigger than a Lacerda. So we get to open this up for the first time together. Welcome pack. Look at those sweet little trays. Let's see what's in the welcome pack. That is awesome. So you get this little Galactic Cruise Supervisor lanyard. I think that's it from in here. Little brochure for when we go on our trip. Your workstation and you. Preston system of organization. Sweet. It has an organization diagram. Hands down, this is what every single game needs. It needs, if it comes with a tray, it needs some type of organization manual, diagram, something. Okay, so it's got where all the tiles go, all that stuff, player trays, expansion stuff, which I don't believe we got any. Workspace organization, initial tray setup, punch and organize. Cool. It tells you exactly what you need to do. History of the company. Galactic Cruise was founded by Travis E. Preston after a long career in both the aerospace engineering field and in the hospitality industry. His vision was to merge his passion into an ultimate project by creating the first company, to offer extended stay space vacations. What began as a modest business venture soon grew into an empire, cementing Preston's spot in the annals of innovative history. Very cool. I love this. So thematic. Super thematic. Welcome to Galactic Cruise. I'm not going to read this whole thing just because it's super long, but it's just talking about how Galactic Cruise was started. I still watch the beautiful sky. Remember, my door is always open and chamomile is always hot. This, I absolutely love this. This is super cool. I love that they did that. Okay, so we've got all these player trays. Move this off out of the way. So it looks like each of these will be for their own player. I'm assuming these are... Oh, I forget the insert people. Same people that made, what is it? Distilled. Pat, whoever told me 3D printing was fun never had a blob melt to a hot end. Yeah, I could see that being bad. Look at these gigantic meeples. They definitely went overboard with the production value of this game. Look at this thing. Let me go up a little bit. Focus. Come on, focus. Look how thick that is. That's a thick boy. Game trays. That's who made this. You've got the little gears. Wow, those things are huge. Screen printed. So here's a different one. This looks like he's like the person that will be on the cruise with you. Oh, come on, you were there. There we go. Nice. Let's go back to the doctor here, or whatever this guy is. This is probably like your grande worker. Come on, focus. No, not working. Because it looks like there's only one of them. And then you've got your commander, space commander, with his little headset on. Very cool. More game trays. Man, I don't want to get this all out. I'm gonna have to put it back in. More game trays, more game trays. Some tokens, looks like little oxygen tanks. The little, possibly this might be like what you see on Google Maps. I don't know if that's true, but the little place location things. It's probably not what it is, but, and then you've got food. I'm assuming this is probably the Atoma. Green and yellow player, blue player, some cards, and what's under here? Oh my goodness. The training manual. Let's see how long. Oh my gosh. This thing is huge. Super interested in backing this. I'm assuming you didn't back it then, Michael. This rule book might be the biggest thing I've ever seen. This is 48 pages. I say that. Civolution was around 40 pages as well, but I didn't read it. Devin did. Wow. Same kind of rule book that, what is it, Stonemeyer does? The, whatever kind of paper that is. Welcome to Galactic Cruise. How to use this manual. Whenever you see these symbols, pay attention to the rules of the player count. These are key concepts. These are examples, notes left by me, your resident genius and employee onboarding expert. They're very helpful reminders, especially for new supervisors. and then that one. So it's got everything broken out there. I know for a fact I will be watching Paul Grogan teach me this game, and then I will look at the actual rules. Man, there's a ton of stuff in here. But looks like there's lots of examples, lots of little tips, so that's good. Company records, so it looks like your records and base game reference, game variants, short game, might be good for the first game. What is this? Ship segment marketing descriptors. Okay, so it's just your little reference sheet. Gigantic player board, I'm sure. That's one thick rule book. You cannot... Yeah, it's legitimately super heavy. Here's the board. I'm zoomed out as much as I can on my camera. But that's how big it is. This is going to take up every inch of Devin's computer. Or, I'm sorry, I said computer. Of his table. These are the player boards. Nice double-sided. And then you've got your employee handbook. These are the reference sheets. So in a true Vital Lacerda style, you've got your personal employee handbook, which tells you all the things that you can do. Very, very cool. I don't think there's anything under there. There definitely is stuff under there. It's all the punch boards. Oh no. Yeah, so all the punch boards are under there. I'm not going to get those out because I do not want to do this today. And I'm probably already going to have to do quite a bit of it just to get it back in there. So let's do the best we can here, getting this stuff back in. Here was the player board. Here was the thick rule books. Then this went on top. This went here. I don't know where this went. This went here. These were here. Fit stuff in wherever it goes. The box didn't close already. So yeah, I am very, very excited for this game. Like I said, I've been following it for quite some time. Just, you know, when it was on Instagram, when it was first getting some hype. And now it's finally here. It feels like it's been years in the making. So now we actually get to try it out and see if the hype was worth it. Look at that giant box. I just can't get over it. When it got delivered today, I was like, holy cow. I did not expect it to be that big. And then, again, love this. Super cool. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me because I haven't read the rulebook, but I think this is the first player marker. So you've got the sweet little supervisor thing that you wear. Very cool. Very thematic. We'll go ahead and put that away back in here in the welcome pack. And be on the lookout for this one at some point. Hopefully pretty soon while the hype is there in the game. So again, huge shout out to Kinson Key Games for sending this one over. This is Galactic Cruise. We're just going to slide it here. I'll move it out of the way so that it's not right in front of you guys on the front cam. And now this last one. This one, another one that I'm just extremely thankful that got sent to me. This one was part of my favorite games of last year. This is the Kinfire series, and this is the actual campaign, Kinfire Chronicles Nightfall. Let me get Galactic Cruise out of the way. There we go. So this one, I was going to show you all the front of the box, but I forgot there's a top down. This is Kinfire Chronicles Nightfall. Kinfire, this game here, Kinfire Delve, was one of my favorite games of last year. One of my favorite, new ones, because this one came out in 2024. And this is just a dungeon crawling game where you just have a bunch of cards and you are playing it. You're going down the well, trying to defeat the big boss. There are 3 of them. I let Joe borrow one of them, so he's got that copy of mine at his house right now. But now I've got this one, Nightfall. Yes, Pat, I am so excited for this. I've been looking forward to it. Now, I did not expect this one to be this thick either. This is the side view. So it's wider than Galactic Cruise. I don't know if I mentioned it. This was sent to us by Incredible Dreams, so a huge shout out to them. But this is magnetic. I love that. Magnets. And this is the game board. So everything that I've read about this is setup takes literally 5 minutes. And this is the board. So I'm just going to put it here for now. Yeah, I think the design is awesome. So there's the board. This is the welcome box. So I started looking at it last night. I got kind of overwhelmed because for some reason I started at 10 p.m. at night when I should have been in bed. I unpunched a couple things, but didn't get too much. Now, this right here, I think, is the best presentation of any game. I think that looks so clean, so awesome. These are the quests. This is your quest box. These are your characters. This right here is what you'll be reading, right? That's the adventure book. It all has its own little place, and it fits so well. We'll look at this here in a second. But as soon as you open it, let me move this here. I'm just going to kind of put it like that so that I can show you guys. On this welcome box, begin your journey through Atios. You just open it up, and there is the first rule book. So now I did peek just a little bit into one of the boxes, and there's rule book number 2 in there. So the game is going to lead you into more difficult things or more advanced parts of the game, more advanced mechanisms, but you do start here. And it gives you a little bit overview of the world. I read it slightly. Again, it was late last night. I did put some of my seekers together, the enemy seekers here. It talks about the cards, the boost cards, what they do, what they act like. Tells you how to get your little bags ready. And then it talks about the actual game board. And then let's begin. And then it tells you how to save the game and stuff like that. So there's a nice little quest guide on here. And then you've actually got this map atlas. So, like I mentioned, this is the board. So what you do is you go to the map, and that's it. That's your setup. It's there in the center. You will then grab your little character. So I started here with Roland. And, right, I've got my little health meter here. Let me zoom in. I recently received the Micro Moonshine game from Destroy on Game Found. I have not heard of that one, Dilly. I will be checking that out. Let me see if I can zoom in. Here we go. So you've got your little character. I'm assuming this is where the cards go. Again, I haven't looked too much into it. Roland's boost cards do not have to match. That's his one ability. When it's your turn, this is what you can do. You can act, move, refresh. And then down here is his health tracker. On the back, it's got some, just images of stuff that he can do. You've got the decks of cards, and then the acrylic standee, which, is there plastic on this? I think there is. I hate taking plastic off the acrylics. I did learn that scratching it with the hex base helps, and that did help a little bit. Let's get it all off. I want to show it. I want to show you guys what it looks like. Dilly, what kind of game is that? There we go. I think there's only on one side. No, there's got to be it on the other side too. sure is, if you ever have these standees that are acrylic with wrapping on it, you use the bottom hex base, scratch it, and then you should be able to pull it off pretty easily. So there is a Roland. Come on, focus for me, please. Yeah, there we go. Pretty sweet. Yeah, not the best, but you can kind of see it. So there is all sorts of characters. There's 6 total. And it's all the characters from the Kinfire Delve series, which I believe Kinfire Chronicles came out first. So, you know, from this series, it's all the same characters. The cards are slightly different. Devin asked me if this would store the Kinfire Delve stuff. I don't think it does, because all this stuff is different. So, again, I haven't looked at the cards yet. I don't want to spoil too much. But, I mean, I guess this is who I'm going to be playing with, and I don't really know what this stuff means just yet. But, it looks slightly different than the Delve series. So it plays 1 to 4 people. Now, I believe if you're playing solo, you have to do double-handed. So that's okay. I've got my 2 characters that I've chosen to play. So let's look at that a little bit more. Move this out of the way. Back to the storage. We'll zoom back out. Actually, it looks okay here. So like I said, you've got all the stuff here. I'm going to be playing Core and Roland. You've got this little treasure box here. And you can see there's a space for it. And the treasure box has got, you know, just all your different cards. The void box. Looks like different dividers in here to actually divide out the cards whenever you get them. A bunch of decks, some envelopes that you're going to have to open up at some point. They don't seem to be labeled, but it looks like they have some type of something on there. And then just some other deck boxes here that aren't open. Like I mentioned, you have what you'll be reading. So I know the first one, it says to read The Road to Vinna. So this is Road to Vinna. There's 1 quest there. And then you've got all these other quests, right? There's 21 quests, I believe, in total. So depending on the character that you play, the main story is the same, but there's little branching things that would be different based on who you're playing. And then these are the actual quests, so it's 1 through 21. So, you know, you just get it out, you open it up. That's sweet looking. Open it up, you know, and then look at all the stuff inside of it. It looks like there's maybe some new rules. I think some of those have some new punch board kind of things. So whenever you're saving the game, you just put it into the box, into your character's box, and then just get it out for the next time that you're playing. So this was 11 right here in the center. And then there are all these chits that go in the bag here. I'm not big into games and all the lingo just yet, but it's billed as a card drafting game. Theme was what drew me in. Prohibited era USA. Plus it has a solo mode. Very cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look into that one. I like card drafting games. Those are a lot of fun. So these here, it's the characters, and I'm not sure exactly what everything else does, but there's some that have numbers on them. There's ones with all the characters. So here's Core. That's going to be one of the characters that I'm playing. Here is Roland. That is the other character. So you'll be putting 12 total chits in there. If you're playing with all 4 characters, it's 3 from each character. If you're playing with, you know, 3 characters, it's 4 of the 3. 2, it's 6 and 6. So those go in the bag. And I'm assuming this is how you take some type of damage or something along those lines. This is not a good symbol in the Kinfire Delve series, so I'm assuming if you draw that, something bad is going to happen to you. So yeah, then you've got like the enemy health dial and stuff like that. Uncle Paul, would you be annoyed if someone just placed them in random order? What do you mean place them in random order? So my most excited game that will crowdfund this year is Heroes of the Shire, Light and Shadow. Damien is adding so much. Yeah, I know you were play testing that one, so I know that that one should be a lot of fun. Ken, what do you mean by placing them in random order? Talking about these things here? Because yes, that would kill me. This is beautifully done. But yeah, so that is Kinfire Delve. Like I said, I punched some of the stuff out yesterday. Enough for my heroes that I'm going to be playing. Not sure what that does. I'm sure it's some type of, I don't know. I'll read about it. Not sure what these do. I'll read about it. I got excited and then distracted all at the same time because that's how my brain works. So here's the map. We'll go through it a little bit. The art, yeah, my OCD would go mad. Yeah, Dilly, this is amazing the way that they did this. So here's some more maps. We'll zoom out. Sorry for the glare. Right, it just looks terrific. So, again, huge shout out to the people at Incredible Dream for sending this one over. They definitely didn't have to. This one, most likely, I'm just going to go ahead and call it now, is probably going to be one of my most, one of my new to me favorite games of the year. It's funny, Devin actually, he just picked up the Elder Scrolls game. He doesn't have it in or anything like that, but he just picked it up. And I think he got it the same day that I got this one. And he said that for the next 6 months, he's going to be playing Elder Scrolls. And I told him for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be playing Kinfire Chronicles. So get ready for our end of the month reviews. Him and I are just going to be talking about 2 games. And we'll probably be talking in depth about them. But yeah, this thing is very awesome. Very excited to play it. So that is all of the new games in the collection for the month. Yeah, let's go ahead and go over here. Yeah, this would be a lot of solo for me. Yes, for sure. It's going to be a solo game, at least for the foreseeable future for me. I do think my wife would like playing this one. It does play 45 to 60 minutes per quest, and their biggest thing is that they're saying 5-minute setup, 45 to 60 minute plays, in and out the box. And honestly, the way that it's organized, I believe it. So it's not one that you necessarily have to keep set up, I think. So I don't know. We'll see how it is. I keep my dice and dice on all the same face up aligned. CP2, yeah. Put it up, yeah, I saw. So that's all that I have. I appreciate you guys being here. As always, remember, like, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really does help us. I always say it every month. I never, I'm super thankful for all the games that we get, all the games that we have access to. I never expect any of this stuff, but when we get it, it's super nice to have. But, it lets you guys kind of see what we're into and stuff like that. So if you haven't joined our Discord, go ahead and do that. There is the link on the screen, and then I'll go ahead and drop it here in the chat as well. We will be doing our next board game arena night. I don't have a specific date just yet, but I will post that up within the next week. And then we will, for this week, let me see, there it is. We've got En Route coming out. So that was the one that we went over earlier. That is the roll and write. We've also, Devin might be here on Wednesday. He's unsure if he has a meeting or not. So I think we'll play that one by ear. And then on Friday, I'm actually going to be alone. I'll be streaming Galileo Galilei. Same designer as SETI, and super excited for that one. Yeah, Pat, I'm excited to see that printer picture. So again, I appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you guys very much. And I will see y'all on Friday. Have a good rest of your night. Talk to y'all later.